Hey guys, what's going on? Thank you so much for watching, and man, has it been a while. For those of you that have been a part of the channel for the past couple months, I am so sorry that it's taken me so long to get a build out. In today's video, we are building a werewolf shack, werewolf cabin, whatever you want to call it, because the werewolf pack came out, oh my gosh, weeks ago now, and we've already got an announcement for the next expansion pack coming to The Sims 4, which will be high school, so I know I am so far behind, and I actually finished building this specific house a few weeks ago, and I've had it edited and ready to go, and just haven't had the time to record the voiceover. So I'm so sorry, but I'm very excited to show this off finally. So I got a lot of inspiration for this floor plan layout from Sunny Simsy. If you haven't followed her over on YouTube or TikTok or wherever she's at, because she's everywhere, I know she streams on Twitch, give her a follow because she's amazing and her builds are beautiful. But she did a small build a while ago, and I loved the floor plan, so I took heavy inspiration from that and then just kind of decorated it as a werewolf shack. So thank you so much, Lisa. I enjoy your builds so much, and I'm using as many of the new werewolf pack items as I possibly can, including these wonderful new beams and this kind of rickety fence set, as well as the new spandrels that are kind of more industrial looking, but I actually really liked how they looked on this kind of covered patio porch on the front. Now I will say this little covered porch on the front that you can see me working on here is not actually accessible to the Sims from the inside, so it's just purely a decorative thing. It's only like a 1x1 kind of hallway area, so there's not much you could really put on there, but if you do download this and want to extend that out one and put some chairs out there or whatever it is that you'd want to put out there, it could very easily be done. And this is going to be up on the gallery. In fact, it should be up there right now, so if you want to download it and play with it, YTSimplySimming YT is my gallery ID. Or it might be YTSimplySimming. I forget what it is right now. But regardless, it's down in the description box. So, you know, even though I can't remember, it's down there for you guys so that I don't get it wrong. But anyway, I wanted to try to use as much of the werewolf pack like I said. So I started off grabbing those windows with the stone around them, but they really didn't fit. And I didn't like them, how they kind of meshed with this kind of older kind of shack is what I was going for, and they were a little bit too maybe industrial. The stone was just a little too harsh, so I actually end up using almost all of the windows. I believe are Cottage Living, along with the door. So I end up using this door from Cottage Living with the little wolf knocker on it. I thought it was perfect, and I thought that these fit in really, really well with kind of the more cabin feel that I was going for with this. I had a lot of fun with the foliage in this one as well, because I tried to use some foliage that I don't normally use. So some of like the long grasses, that lavender, those little white flowers are kind of not typical of what I would usually use in my landscaping. And I wanted it to feel not super overgrown, but a little bit, you know, like these werewolves are obviously not, I don't think they're going to have a gardener. They themselves are not going to get out there and be gardening. So I did want it to feel just a little bit overgrown and kind of unkempt. I used a lot of the debug, debug landscaping as well, and using those trees and stuff that came with the pack and this fence that came with the pack, which is great. It looks a lot like the debug fence, I believe is base game, but this one is just a little bit less neat and tidy. It's a little bit more kind of worn down looking if you actually look at the textures and the colors of it. So fit really, really well for this one. And then of course some Cottage Living debug stuff, because that has like the best debug landscape in my opinion. I absolutely love that pack for its debug stuff and its landscaping specifically. adding a lot more little tall grasses and things, and I end up doing some terrain paint as well as finding some debug items from the werewolf pack that are like some logs and beams and stuff like that. We end up putting a truck outside, of course using these base game little stepping stones because they're my favorite thing ever, and just kind of making the outside look, again, a little bit unkept and just kind of run down a little bit. Overall, this build probably took me 2.5 hours or something like that, so it really was not that time consuming. I find it really easy when I'm building with one specific pack and trying to use the majority of that pack in a build. So I found that a little bit easier because obviously all the items that came with this game pack really kind of go together, and so it was pretty easy. I am pulling things from like vampires, like I said, cottage living, I think a couple cats and dogs things as well, kind of trying to pull out all the rustic-y stuff from all the different packs. So it is a build that uses a lot of different game packs, so I apologize if you're somebody that either doesn't own them all or prefers to play, you know, with a limited number of packs. I am going to try to work on getting some either base game only or like base game plus one pack kind of builds going, but I've kind of fallen in love with a lot of different pieces from a lot of different packs, and I would call them like my staple pieces, and so building without them is a huge struggle for me, and I love using those pieces so much. But I totally understand there are so many Sims for expansions, kits, game packs, whatever you want to call them, and so it can be a little bit difficult to own them all. Now, I really wanted, like I said, to make this look a little bit overgrown, so again, we're using the cottage living stuff, the vines on the walls, as well as just using the 9 key and move objects to raise some just normal foliage up onto the roof to make it look like there is some weeds or something growing up there, you know, some dirt and stuff has collected in those crevices on the roof, and then some seeds have, you know, flown up there, been dropped up there by birds or whatever, and so there's some weeds growing up there. And I think along with the new little window boxes, the ones that are drawers that actually they look a little bit more worn down, a little bit more kind of overgrown, I think it completes the outside of this house. Now, I do add the new mailbox and this new trash can, and I think it looks great. Please ignore the mailbox in the right side of the screen. On this lot, this was bugged, and it's actually like right outside the build limit for this lot for some reason. And I can't change it. I can't move it. I can't touch it. I can't anything. I tried everything and it won't go away. So I do apologize that it's there in the footage, but it wouldn't go anywhere. So that's what we're having to live with. The werewolf pack came with a lot of good clutter things for kind of messy builds and stuff. So you can see I threw a tire over there. I had those logs I threw in the back. We've got these like little werewolf signs that are out front and whatnot. I really like the little trash can that's just like basically a barrel, very like junkyard feeling, but we are moving on to the interior now, and again, really heavy inspiration, basically taking the layout almost exactly from Sunny Simsy, so thank you so much for that floor plan, because we all know how much I struggle hard with floor plans, but on the inside we're using, I think these is it City Living, right? Countertops and fridge that are kind of like grungy and dirty and whatnot. We end up putting a little dining table in here, and I did play test it a bit to make sure that the sim could move around. I end up putting one of the punching bags that came with Werewolf pack in the front of the door, and unfortunately, because it's like a 4 tile wide, or it might even be 6 tiles total object, and although it's so little, it needs some like interacting space, the sim couldn't get by it. So if I have forgotten to take it out for the gallery upload, that's what you need to delete in order for your sim to actually get in the house, because if that is there, then they can't actually get into the house, which is such a bummer because I liked it there. I used it as just like basically a clutter object and whatnot. I really wanted to try to use the new table that came with the Werewolf pack because I love it so much, but it was a little big and so we needed some space to move around. I did, however, use these new chairs, which are fantastic. I love the fact that there are some swatches on there that have clearly been painted but worn off because they were painted so long ago. They're also painted different colors and whatnot. That along with that little, oh, excuse me, I almost fell out of my chair. That along with that little table from Cats and Dogs has that very rustic-y feel to it, very much like that. It goes very well with this. And overall, I think this house has a very appropriate dirty feel, if you know what I mean. Like it's meant to feel lived in and not abandoned, because I didn't want it to feel like it was completely abandoned. I guess I could have added some spider webs here and there, thinking back, that might have added just a little bit more detail, but to be honest, while I was building, I completely forgot. But this is a place where somebody does live, right? There is either a couple of werewolves or a few werewolves that do live in this house. When we go to the bedroom, I do end up putting like a little bassinet in there because we got that new little bassinet with the werewolf pack. So either, you know, a single werewolf and their kid, what would you call a baby werewolf? A werebaby? Anyway, or a couple and their baby can live here. So that is kind of what this house is built for. I really didn't want to over clutter the kitchen though. So I tried to keep it fairly minimal with just like the necessities and stuff. I wanted to use those crates from Cats and Dogs, but unfortunately when you scale them down, the shadow gets really weird. So I had to kind of nix that and not use it, which was a bummer. We're gonna finish up the kitchen here very shortly. I'm trying to think about if there's anything else I add. I really like how that shelf on the right hand side came out with all those little bottles and stuff like that. It is the new like collection shelf, whatever it's for. So it's meant to like display things that your sim collects on, but I just sized it down and I actually use it again in the bedroom because I like it so much. And yeah, so I thought it turned out really, really well. I originally did not want to put a wardrobe in the bedroom, which is what that little 2x1 square that I just blocked off was going to be, but I really wanted to use this new couch. And unfortunately in the Werewolf pack, we didn't get a love seat sized couch. We only got a 3 wide couch and it looked weird hanging off the edge of both walls. Like if it was like on a 2 tile wall with 3 tiles, it would hang off by half a tile on either side, and I thought that looked really weird. So I just ended up closing that off, putting that bookshelf there, which is again from the new pack, and it turns out I think looking great. This room is a little bit cramped and cluttered, but that's kind of how I wanted it to be, so I guess goal achieved. Using that new mirror object on the wall, that shelf with the mirror that's a moon shape, I love how that looks. The only complaint I have about it is the kind of sizing up and down with mirror objects in the game that doesn't really work. I wish I could make it slightly smaller because it is fairly big in my opinion. So I just wish I could make it slightly smaller, but I still think it looks great there as kind of like a centerpiece of the room. And obviously fits in with the werewolf theme because it's a moon, and so I think it does look great. Using some of the Cats and Dogs clutter like suitcase and books just to the side of the TV stand, which is like a couple suitcases and whatnot. Using this rug from, oh my goodness, I totally forget where that rug is. That's not the one from the Werewolf pack. The one we used in the kitchen is the brand new rug that has kind of like the holes and stuff in it. And then that other rug that I used in the living room, I don't remember what pack it's from. If you know, you can let me know down in the comments. But that is the little living area, just very, you know, simple, just a place to hang out. So we're moving on to the bedroom and we are almost done. I really wanted to use the new werewolf bed, the twin bed, but I also just wanted to get a double bed in here so that 2 Sims could live here. It took me a really long time to figure out what bed I wanted to go with though. You can see me here. I'm gonna try like basically every double bed that we have. I'm gonna give it a try and see if it'll work. And I end up landing on this one here with the 4 posts on all 4 sides and then kind of a quilt on the bed itself. And the bedroom turns out pretty colorful, which is kind of a contrast to the rest of the house, which, I mean, I guess it's okay. I'm happy with how it turned out and whatnot. I just wish there was a more worn down bed. And you can see, like, I tried to put the two werewolf twin beds together, but they really didn't look right when you kind of squished them together and whatnot. I'm taking all three of the kind of worn out looking rugs and kind of stacking them in here just for a bit of interest on the floor. And then I do end up giving them a little desk area with a computer and kind of a study area right over here, because the bedroom did end up being fairly big. So I felt like we needed something in the corner, you know, something for them to do. I don't know what a werewolf would do on the computer, but there you go. Your werewolf has a computer. You can see I'm using that little collection shelf again. And then just with the red shelf, moving objects onto it so that they can not be floating. They can look like they're actually on the shelves. Just with some books, some clutter here and there. The werewolf pack, like I mentioned before, came with some really cute little clutter. But I'm pulling also from vampires and from... There was one other one, maybe Strangerville? Do I own Strangerville? I don't actually think I own the Strangerville pack. Maybe I do. Anyway, I digress. This little jar, it's not a jar, it's like a little container with mushrooms growing out of it. Loved that, so threw that up there. I also used it in the living room. This little lily lamp and some other kind of werewolf knickknacks and things like that. And then this little moon light that works kind of like the monster light. So I think it's supposed to make your kids like not afraid of the dark or not afraid of things that are under the bed or something like that. I end up using a little, I think it's something that your sim actually like makes in game because I got it from the debug menu, but it's just a little side table on the side, this little thing right here on the side of the little bassinet, as well as I use it as end tables on the side of the bed as well. I felt like it looked like the proper amount of garbage-y, like something they pulled from, I don't know, somebody put something out for free on the side of the road and they picked it up or something like that. But just adding a couple little lights, and that is pretty much it. I think we jump back outside for a little bit. I'm trying to think about what else we work on because there is a couple more minutes left in the video and we still have a couple more things to do. So probably just random clutter here and there. I love the cracked mirror. I absolutely love that piece. So I had to include that. Oh yeah, the bathroom. This itty bitty teeny tiny bathroom. So very, very simple. Just a shower, a sink, and a toilet. All the necessities you need for a bathroom. And there's not too much that's special about it. So there you go. But thank you guys so much for watching. There will be just a few little glamour shots at the very end. Again, if you do enjoy this video, leave a like, comment down below, and hit the subscribe button. I promise there's more Sims content coming, and I will be covering the high school pack as well, and I've got a couple builds in the works to come out very shortly. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. You can download this off the gallery if you would like to play with it, but if not, that is okay too. Again, like I said, this is the little area that the punching bag ends up going. And if you are downloading this and I forgot to take it out, just delete that little thing and it will allow your Sims to go in the house because it was too big and it blocked the door. As good as it looked, I really actually liked how it looked, but that's okay. But yeah, so yeah, you guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I know I kind of ended it and then came back, but I'm leaving for now. Enjoy the glamour shots. Thank you again for watching, and I will talk at you guys in the next video. Bye.